Ronnie Fogelman. I'm the president of Ledge Rock Consulting.
And I'm Jody Ashley. I'm the director of client services.
And we are very excited and happy to have you join us for our next interview in our series called From Their Perspective. We're going to be able to bring you some CEOs, some executive directors, some administrators, vice presidents. We'll be looking at operations as well as sales and marketing and some business development.
And today we're really excited to have Paisley Valentincic. Paisley is the director of sales and marketing for Tamara's North Shore. So welcome, Paisley.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. All right. Well, I know, Paisley, that this is your career. This is what you love to do, and you've been very successful at it. And I know that, like many of the people that are listening to us, you've had a very challenging year. I mean, we've faced a lot during this last year with the pandemic, of course, and a tumultuous election on top of everything that we normally need to be able to handle on a day-to-day basis. So we were kind of wondering if you might think back a little bit before the pandemic and think about what you think have been the greatest changes that have happened in the last 5 years.
The greatest changes in the last 5 years, I think, have been certainly the client or the family members of the clients have become far more educated in senior living. They certainly do their homework and their research, and they want to make certain, of course, that their parent or themselves land in the best community for them or the best set of services for them. So it has required us as providers to be more, more on our game. We need to really be ahead of that curve and be anticipating what residents and clients are looking for, and making sure that our product and our community stays flexible to meet those needs. It's not a one-stop shopping, one-size-fits-all market anymore. And I think even in the last 12, 14, 18, 24 months, we've seen that even more so.
So Paisley, are you seeing that they're looking for something different that they would have been looking for 5 years ago?
I do. I think people want to have more flexibility. They want to be able to customize their next home or their next step, especially more so in the monthly service or the rental fee package. It's always been very bundled. Everything's included, which on one hand you can sell and it's all inclusive. On the other hand, I think the world has changed. People are more, they're more transient. People travel more. People have more than one home in some cases, or they want to have that flexibility to be able to not stay in the same place all year. And I think we have some work to do in the industry to be able to meet those needs and requests, and maybe start thinking about a la carting packages and really giving someone the type of experience that they're looking for and to feel like they're getting the value that they're paying.
So along those lines, I know that your focus has been in the independent living and assisted independent living sector of our industry. So what we're seeing is a lot of kind of slow change happening between the skilled and the independent and the assisted living. What do you think you see in the future for independent and assisted living?
I think we were starting to head this way before the pandemic, but I do think that we will start to see in independent living and assisted living residents that are still independent or are best fit for assisted living, but are wanting ways to be able to stay in that area longer. So really less movement into skilled nursing, or less time in skilled nursing. So if it's increasing services and amenities in assisted living or independent living to keep residents safer longer in that venue, I think that is highly desirable. Obviously within independent living, it's not a licensed area, but I think with partnering with home health services, as well as some of the amenities that you can offer within a community, someone could stay in independent living much longer as well as thrive and be safe, which of course is the goal.
And I think we're starting to see, or we have been seeing that for a while, the challenges that assisted living is facing, and then independent living kind of making changes. So what do you, as we think about that, we're also involved a little bit in the new village concept and all of those kinds of pieces. So what do you see as the biggest change coming in our industry?
I do think, I mean, I will always, since I've started working in this industry when I was out of college, I've always kept, choice, flexibility. I mean, I think of myself. If I were making this decision for myself or a family member, what would I want? And I would want to have that flexibility. I would want to be in the driver's seat. I would want to have a lot of choice. And I'd want to feel that I'm getting a good value for what I'm what I'm putting into it. If it be an entry fee community, if it be a rental fee community, it should be a good value, and people should feel like they're getting the most out of their commitment. So I do think that will continue. I think providers are going to have, in any sector, if it be a community, if it be home health, if it be any
We'll edit that.
worries.
Probably shut it off.
Any sector is going to have to be flexible and learn to adapt very quickly. I think also that concept of a village, or co-ops aren't the right word, but where you have smaller groups, settings with amenities and high services coming in, will become even more apparent after what we've been through in the last year. Less density. If there's going to be growth, it'll be really thought out well, so that we can adjust if something like this were to happen again in the future.
So when you think about the changes that you're talking about and the things that we've been seeing as well, how do you think that's going to affect the sales and the business development part of our industry?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely, we're going to have to remain creative and really think outside the box. I mean, that's what we've learned this last year, of course. And now that things are starting to open a little bit, and here in Chicago, things are starting to get a little bit better, not only because of the weather, but I think because of the pandemic we're getting ahead of it, or there are solutions. There's a high demand for people to still want to move. I have a lot of clients who say, I don't ever want to go through this again and being at home alone. So I think it's an opportunity for us in senior living to really adapt to that and find ways. If somebody moving to a community is not the right choice for them, then finding other ways to bring services, not just care services, but social and emotional services to people who wish to stay more at home. So we do have our work to do as well. I mean, we need to be able to really get ahead of this and find ways to stay creative, so people want to still make a move to communities. Because of course, I'm a huge proponent of making a move to a community. I see great value in it, and I see, I think, just emotionally and socially, and it provides what people need to do well and be successful. But that's not how everyone feels. So as an industry, we're going to need to be able to manage that and address that.
So I want to just kind of move to a little bit more personal now for you. If you could give one piece of advice to someone coming in, maybe as a new sales manager for independent living, what would that advice be?
So, I've met a lot of fantastic sales managers over the years. I've worked for fantastic sales managers over the years. And I think the best thing that I can recommend to somebody, the best piece of advice, is to be authentic, to be genuine, to really, I mean, you don't come into senior living if you really don't have that passion and you really care about where people land and what they choose, and if they're safe, if they're happy. I mean, that's important to us if we're in this industry. And that comes through. So I think you need to be authentic, you need to be genuine, you need to listen, you need to learn. This industry is growing and changing every day, and it's actually really very exciting. And so there's so much to learn. Even after 28 years of being in the industry, I still have a lot to learn too. But that's why I love it. So that's what I would recommend is
Okay, great.
really
Well,
keep
I'm sorry, go ahead.
really lead with your heart.
Okay.
So,
And I think we do learn something new every day that we do from our clients.
Yeah. Can I just to piggyback on that, Paisley? One of the things that we've been hearing from other people that we've been interviewing is the lack of the younger generation wanting to come into senior living. And you're shaking your head, so I think so. You're in agreement. Well, what can we do about that? Because the older generation's not going away.
yeah, I mean, of course it's been a problem years before even coming into the pandemic. I mean, I know organizations like Leading Age have put a lot of effort into making senior living more attractive to the younger group. And, you know, during the pandemic, we've seen it here as well. We're a new community. We've hired staff during the pandemic, and we had younger people that were really great fit for this community and for their role. And they were hired, and a couple weeks in, they were nervous because of the pandemic. And so we had some people make changes. And so I think we now even have more so to overcome after the last year. But we also have some fantastic young people working for us. And I think if you can take those experiences and share them with the greater, you know, job fairs and these types of presentations, I think hopefully you can get people excited about giving it a try. Because I don't know, I think it's an awesome industry to be a part of.
Great.
But
yeah, I mean, this has been my whole life. I've been in this industry for 30 years, and seen unbelievable changes over that time, but there's nothing like it. And trying to impart that to younger salespeople is that, you know, they don't make the connection necessarily between senior living and sales. So you have to kind of bring them along and nurture them and help them to see the value that they bring to the community. So
absolutely.
yeah. So I have one more final question for you. I know I've often said that, you know, every administrator or leader that I've worked with has taught me something. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but taught me something. So I'm wondering if you would share with everyone, what is the very best professional advice that you've received?
So I said it already earlier, but for me, the best professional advice I've received is to really lead with your heart, which is twofold because you can't be emotional all the time when you're making decisions. But if you know, I really, we're advocates for older adults. That's why we're here, is we're advocating for them and helping them find the best path. And so to really listen and learn and get to know people well and build that trust. And also understand that perhaps if you're representing a community, maybe that's not always the best place for someone. So helping them find the best place for them or the best solution for them is the best advice that I've received and that I can give to someone. We all work together to make sure that older adults are doing well. So that's why we're here, and that's why I love what I do.
Great, wonderful. Well, Paisley, we thank you very, very much for your time, for your experience, for your advice for all of our listeners. We wish you well, and we want you to be safe, and make sure that you stay in touch with us.
Same to you. You be well, be safe.
Thank you, Paisley. And thank you to everybody who's watching this today. And we hope that you will stay tuned for our next from their perspective, when we have Eric Iverson, who is a business growth strategist for Bria Health Services. He will be joining us next. So we'll look forward to hearing from him. So until then, have a good day, everybody, and we'll see you real soon.
All right.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Paisley.
Thank you.